Hello again. Welcome back to the couch. My name is Luke, and this is,
Austin.
and we saved you a seat. Today we are reviewing Sinners by Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler. This movie was much anticipated by me. I assume the same for you.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely.
Why's that?
I mean, I'm ripping the shirt right now, but I mean, Ryan Coogler is beyond Black Panther is one of
Yeah.
my favorite directors. I mean, I don't love every single movie, but I can see that he's such like a good director. Like, I definitely want to follow his career. The premise seemed interesting. I like anything original, and that's what this was. So yeah, I was pretty excited for that. All that.
Same, actually. This was um, knowing Ryan Coogler for a long time. Fruitvale Station was my introduction to Ryan Coogler, and then we've got Creed 1 and 2, Black Panther 1 and 2. The skill,
Yeah.
the skill there is obvious.
Mhm.
The storytelling, the capacity for that obvious to me. So just about anything that he puts out, I'm going to take a shot at. Very similar to Christopher Nolan, not in terms of art.
Yeah, I was about to say because I like the directors that can like just really make like a big epic, very something feel very cinematic, like your Christopher Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, Ryan Coogler. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's probably the thing I like the most about this movie because it's so unexpected is
mm,
that the in the first 5 minutes, and I was in the theater, my younger brother was visiting. And so we went on that first Thursday before the movie quote unquote release. We went Thursday at like two in the afternoon. We had it at Fuddruckers in Chinatown.
mhm. I went Thursday. I went
Yeah.
that day too, just later.
And the first thing I noticed was the scope. It was like this was a movie for the theater. It was
Mhm,
epic. It had an epic feel to it.
mhm.
Um, and even though the setting was in a singular place, uh, it was epic. The Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, sorry, should I just butt in?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'll talk more about like the scope in my like small gripes because my gripes are very small. I have a lot of positives,
Me too.
but yeah, the setting, the world building was one of its strengths. I love world building in movies, so I think from the very beginning and throughout like that first hour of the movie, like just setting up all the characters, the time and place, um, just the attention to detail, the texture of the world felt very lived in. On top of
Yes.
that, I would say that the danger and dread you felt, um, while you definitely feel it later in the movie, I was feeling it from like the very beginning because you know you're in the South in this time period,
Hmm.
so you could feel like the sense of dread, sense of danger from the very beginning, from the first scene. And I also think that helps because like the main characters, Michael B, his two characters are like they're dangerous in themselves, and you know they they've been, I don't know, hardened by this world to be able to live in it, but it doesn't like shy away from the fact that this world is dangerous, and these characters are only ahead because they know how to operate in this way. So yeah.
It's interesting because this theme of taking a city gimmick and moving it to a rural small town is prevalent in every society that's ever been on the earth. I
Mm,
mean, that is something that's been around forever.
mhm,
Um, but the setting, that 1932 post Depression era South, where you have lineage that runs back to the Civil War, you may if you're Michael B. Jordan's age in the movie, I imagine he's probably in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. That was his age. He knew people who were slaves for sure, like
mhm.
for sure, as a kid growing up.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that setting, you're talking about prohibition.
Mhm,
You're talking about post World War I, where they were using gas and trench warfare. and it was disgusting and gross. It's like the first modern war. You know, we had tanks, they had horseback, right? That's real. That happened in World War One, where we were shooting people off horseback. It wasn't like the World War II. So that whole setting, I hate to say it was the coolest. I don't think it's cool. It's the most interesting to me part of U.S. history: jazz, blues, which
Yeah.
is the movie essentially,
Mhm.
and baseball was baseball and boxing are the number one and two sports in the world or in the
Yep.
U.S. at the time. It's for sure the most interesting part of U.S. history for me. I
Really.
can't say favorite, but because of all the racism. But yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, there's a
There's
I
not a
hate
lot of US history periods you can escape from that, but
no. And as a Southern person, I
yeah.
saw some. I was like, oh yeah, this is okay. I could see
Yeah.
some. I could see some of this. Not deep South Southern, but definitely some of it. But yeah, I mean, we've got two gangsters who are related and look identical,
Yeah.
traveling to their hometown.
Mhm.
Uh, I assume to steal. I mean, they don't like flat out say it, but they stole some money,
Right. Yeah.
right? They stole money from people who are running booze and guns
Mhm. But yeah,
to yeah.
I'm sorry.
Now hit it.
But the theme of what you said of bringing like a big city, like I don't know, I guess industry or whatever the word is, like to the South to capitalize. That's another thing I wasn't even like thinking about. But yeah, again, Taylor's old as time, like you said. But yeah,
It's interesting, but yeah, that alone plus the way it was shot, that epic feel,
yeah,
it sold the movie. I didn't even need dialogue. They could have just done that silently, and I would have been fine with
mhm.
it. But
Yeah,
it was
just big wide shots. Sorry.
it was no hit it. It was really cool. I'm just it was like one of the coolest. The trailer sold me because it was
Yeah.
so cool. Like I felt cool watching it.
What? Yeah, that was like one of the best trailers I've ever seen, probably.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So, and the movie lived up to that, which is awesome too.
It's so awesome. I mean, if you big side note here,
Yeah.
to me the greatest trailer of all time, just on its own. It's so silly that I say this, but I think it is number one. I've talked to other people about this, and when they watch it, they're like, "Yeah, that's awesome." Is Star Trek 2009?
Star Trek. Oh yeah.
That
The
that
first one, right?
yeah, the first
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams one.
Yep.
That trailer is phenomenal. That movie is not great, but that trailer is so good.
I like that movie. Well, I don't know if I would like it now, but
It's pretty good. It's pretty
there
fun.
were there were parts of it that annoyed me like back then. So I only imagine that would be worse now.
It's not really Star Trek. It's really Star Wars,
Yeah.
but in a Star Trek. Anyway, back to Sinners. So what were your big positives? What were your big takeaways outside of scope and what you just garnered from the very beginning?
Okay. There's a lot. Wrote them down. So I would I would say, yeah, World Building Dangerous. I would say one, the music. You got to touch on the music,
Oh,
obviously. So,
unbelievable.
like the soundtrack, by his collaborator Ludwig Göransson. The it's hard to describe because I feel like it covers so many different genres. To like the blues to jazz to like metal. Like this movie gets really metal at the end.
Hmm.
Um, and with the music, and then you combine that with like all the performances that they have, and they really let all these performances like give these performances space to breathe within the movie. It's not like a musical, and when I say that to people that there's performances in this, like it's like throughout the course of the movie they just like give them time. They even change like aspect ratio on some of them, 'cause I saw it in like Limax, and like they really like highlight those, and I enjoyed all those moments. So like the Irish folk, the stuff with Sammy, the preacher's kid, obviously amazing voice, and like
Yeah, absolutely.
so that was huge. What your thoughts on that?
No, so yeah, you're talking about your
Music.
music. You're talking about like musical breaks, right? Because like in musical, they break to sing, or they break to dance, or they break to do this thing. So like in plays, they call them straight plays not
mm,
because there's no break, but
mm,
in like a musical, they're like not straight plays because there's breaks to dance
mm,
and sing and to do goofy things that wouldn't be real. But
yeah,
no, this was all more or less like you were talking about in character, in the theme. They didn't stop the movie to have a song.
mm.
Um,
I mean, they kind of did, but they didn't though. But yeah, at the
but
same time,
I mean, it's the
yeah,
same as like going and sitting around a campfire listening to someone play acoustic
right,
guitar. You
yeah,
know, I thought the music was phenomenal. I thought the way that they talked about the lineage of the music and how it breeded in different forms over the course of time and invited
mm,
old standards and new creative standards in the blues, in the jazz, in the metal, in even the Irish stuff.
mm,
Really cool way of depicting that. Very thoughtful. It's a Ryan Coogler absolute like masterpiece job of the music itself, as well
definitely,
as
yeah.
what'd you say his name was?
The composer's Ludwig Göransson. He's
Yeah,
like done all
he,
his movies.
he's done some others too. He's the goat. Like he is the man
Yeah,
right now
yeah, he's like a new go. Yeah, for sure.
for sure. Yeah, the way they incorporated music in this movie and the way that it's the is it called the MacGuffin? The way it sits as the MacGuffin of the movie
Yeah,
is, I mean, that whole transformative scene,
yeah. I wanted to talk about that.
right? That by itself is amazing.
Right. Yeah, that one of the best scenes in the movie, like being able to like show like all the music that the Black and African diaspora has
Mm,
influenced in like such a creative way. From the rock to folk to country and all the obvious ones as well, like hip hop and what have you. That scene was beautiful, and then the
yeah,
fact that music was the MacGuffin, like you said, like it's such a big part. And there's stuff in there about like obviously people's heritage, right? But there's also like the friend I went to go see it with had the take of like the vampiric nature of like the music industry or the vampiric nature of
yes,
appropriating other people's culture, like Black culture or like Asian culture, by like people like the vampires were like you know like, I want your stories, or I want your music, like you have such a beautiful voice, da 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 da. Like you know there's the obvious definition of vampire. It's like a vampire, so it's like an obvious like
like
theme.
stealing someone's soul. Yeah, I mean,
Stealing
it's
someone's soul,
yeah,
yeah, and like taking it for yourself, building it as part of the collective, because they're all hippy dippy, like, oh yeah, we're all friends here, and like we want to take your what you got going on, and I want some of that, like as a part of, and that will help me like raise up. So, like, yeah, just like the appropriation of like culture and music is like a major theme in it as well that I thought was really cool. Well
it's
done.
really well done, and I like that. It didn't it didn't do any blame throwing. It wasn't about blaming other people.
Right.
It was very much a product of its own story, which I
Yep.
loved. I love that because being being chastised for um, Elvis Presley is famous for stealing black music, infamous, I guess, for
Yes.
stealing black music, and he
Right.
for sure did.
Right.
And no one said anything. And um, as a white person who is a fairly good vocalist myself,
Mhm.
I like all kinds of music, right? So
As you should.
yeah, and if I'm singing something that is not traditionally white, it is in celebration of that music, not to steal it. Like, so I like that it was not blame throwing. It was like, no, this is something that happened and did happen in this time. It was very thoughtful. I'm going to oversay thoughtful. I'm going to oversay
Yeah.
it, but
I mean, happened in that time, happening now too. But yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's really thoughtful. Outside of the music, what else did you like about it?
Um so much. Yeah, the I did like the villain. And so I wanted more vampire stuff. So, and I think what came with that was like some of the, well, it brings up the themes, but it also like the actor was good, and also like the use of shadow, so the
Mhm.
cinematography and the way they frame the villain, as this like lonely, like traveler coming in. The movie gets darker and darker as the night comes. He changes. He has like the best vampire eyes I've seen on film.
What 100%.
Yeah, right. And you see like glimpses of the his power when they're doing the little trio. There's Haley Steinfeld's character walks out to see them,
Yeah.
and they're doing their little performance that's like creepy, but sounds great. And they're all in shadow, like their eyes are in shadow, and they're just singing right to the camera. And yeah, that was like a gorgeous scene. So yeah, I think the use of like shadow and darkness with that character that goes along with the cinematography. Sorry, I'm so scatterbrained, but like yeah,
No.
that was definitely one of my favorite things.
Yeah,
Uh,
one of my favorite things about the movie is and I didn't think I would like this. When we watched the trailer, someone had commented, does the I said it might take place all in one night. And someone, I hope not. And I am so happy it took place all in one night. And the reason I say that is because if you have a single setting with all of these cast members at the same place, you can focus on the content rather than, trying to wrangle, 14, 13, 12 actors into the same place at the same time or different places at different times. You can really focus on the content and really focus on the message. I thought that was really cool, really well done. The eyes lighting up and being different, representing different kinds of sin, I think, which wasn't.
was that what that was?
I thought so. I thought like
Okay.
or different kinds of like devil spawn or whatever we want to call it. Like one was lust, one was this, one was this, one was this. It had a very similar like message that comes from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where these villains all represent a different kind of being. Um, I thought the humor wasn't good. There was only one bad joke, and I'll get to that in my negatives. Because it was a bad joke, and it was in the trailer, and I was like, man, they didn't need this. But
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking
thank you.
about.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I'll tell you the other part that I loved was the ending. Why did they buy that specific barn? And it was to kill KKK members.
Hmm. You think that you what? So you think they planned that?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I'll watch people kill KKK members every day of the week.
I was gonna say that too. Like, it doesn't matter the that yeah, I want to talk a lot about that scene, but yeah, that like that could come up in any movie. I could be watching the new Lilo and Stitch and be like, what's
I'll
happening?
tell you. I'll tell you.
KKK massacre, like
In the first 3 minutes of the first episode of Andor season one,
Mhm,
season two, he steals a ship and he can't really fly it, and a bunch of stormtroopers run in and try to shoot him, while he's inside the ship, and he
uh,
figures out how to use the guns, and he points the guns, and he just mows down a bunch of stormtroopers. I was watching with my brother. I said, buddy, I could watch stormtroopers get shot all day long. I can watch KKK members get shot all
literally.
day long. No, I think that was intentional. They spread the information around town that this is a doo-wop and we're gonna or whatever, we're gonna have this for it's kind of our thing and blah blah blah. And they intent like it was intent. I think it was intentional that they set up this thing at this one place where they knew a racist person owned it. They knew these dudes were gonna show up the next day, like
Mhm,
they were ready, and they had the guns in the back of the car. Like he even unpacked the suitcase
mhm.
with the guns in them in the moment I mean, yeah, I could watch that all day. No, I think that was intentional.
Oh, okay. I didn't think it was I think they were just ready to protect themselves, but I would want to watch it again to see because I mean, if it is intentional, like really cool. But also at the
Yeah,
same time, like with the KKK, like it would make more sense for the KKK to have come at night while everyone is there, not like the next morning when were they expecting everyone to like sleep over. And
right.
about it being a kill box, terrifying, obviously, but like
Terrifying. You're
they
right.
you could literally do that at night, surround the barn, and no one would know.
You're
Like
right.
that would be when you would do that, in my opinion. And that would go into one of my small like gripes in the future. But like, well, I'll just say now, like I just thought like not that I wanted more KKK, but I didn't love the full black on black violence, even though it wasn't like in your face.
Mhm.
But if you think about it, like all the all the vampires, all the people in that party are, you know, different races, mostly black, and like all the and then all those people get turned into vampires basically. So they basically all get killed, right?
Right.
And killing each other. So I would have wanted maybe the KKK shows up earlier and we get like some kind of bloody massacre there, like with the vampires, or you combine, even though the vampires were clearly like very different from the KKK, and they even bring that up in the movie, like, hey, like, you know, the world like hates you, like I'm giving you like power, I'm giving you camaraderie, community, like you're already marked for death. With the KKK, they hate you, join me. And but like, you know, but it would have been even scarier if those two forces were like combined. But I get that, you know, they kind of positioned them in different places for a reason. So
It did. I'll tell you, if I didn't have this thought that that was planned, like if I just assumed that they were prepared,
mhm.
um, shoehorning that in at the end seems over the top.
Oh, the massacre.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The killing of the KKK members. Yeah, yeah. It seems like it's like, oh, we just had all of this happen. That's terrible. And then he whips out a machine. You know, they just show up and he just mows them down. It's like, oh well, we okay. This seems like you just put this in just to have it in. Okay, like we don't. You know,
Personally, I'm fine with that.
me too. In terms of storytelling, I'm like, okay,
And
maybe we didn't need this. This isn't, you know, this we don't need more icing. We had enough cake. But I'm cool with it. But it did feel like if this wasn't intentional, this is shoehorned.
I will say when I first saw it, because I was waiting for the scene, because you see in the trailer holding the Tommy gun. That's like
Yeah.
I was like, "Where's that? I need to see that." So, but like, but yeah, I when I first saw it, I originally thought like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna get a little Rambo moment here." But at the same time, like, yeah, it's like a little crowd servicey.
Yeah.
At the same time, like that was they did say it was a kill box. I don't know why they came in the morning, but like they did say it was a kill box. So it
Mhm.
makes sense that they were on their way. And then that character is so messed up because he just threw this whole party. He saw everyone he knew being back in his hometown basically get killed. Crazy night.
Crazy.
Everything that character went through, he had to kill his own girl.
Yeah.
Like so to him for him to have that kind of catharsis, like granted, like, you know, violence, but still catharsis, like of like, you know, doing that, like I'm fine with that.
Hmm. Yeah. It freed his own soul, which is
Yeah,
incredible.
right.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Listen, I thought the two love interest situations were phenomenal. They were really well made. The you know the baby being buried in the backyard of this woman's shop or her house shop, and him going and visiting.
Mhm.
I thought, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I was in on that moment. I was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the Haley Steinfeld's character, I was afraid they were going to make her into like a white witch. Um,
Yeah.
and to be completely fair, her character was well thought out,
Mhm.
thoughtful. I keep saying thoughtful. I was like, oh, like this is cool. Like this is a young person in the 30s who maybe not like her parents.
Yeah. Which which you probably I mean, probably definitely happen, obviously. It's
Mhm.
you never get that depicted on screen, just like you don't get love interest like the other one, like a slightly larger, like dark skinned black woman as a love interest as well. Like so I like that, just the fact that how different they were, and that really helped like, you know, separate the two main characters, even
Right.
though like the two main characters are kind of archetypes, and like but there's a lot of things that like help, you know, distinguish them from each other, which was like good for the movie, from the colors that they were wearing to the, like, you know, the type of women that they would be into, like
Right.
so.
It was really cool. I love that it's a celebration. Like those who were the good guys in this movie were those who were looking to be celebratory of themselves.
Mhm.
And I think like more of that, please. what are we doing? Like that. If anything is taken away from this movie, it's that we need to celebrate everyone. Celebrate. This is like if you're not in celebrating everybody, get the heck out. We don't need you here. Like you know, everyone is cool. It's fine. That's what the couch is for.
Yeah.
No. What were some of the things that you didn't like?
Very, very minor, because I feel like I can't even put this on the movie because they're just kind of things that I wish the movie did.
Mhm.
So I wish I wish there was like I wish it went even harder with like the vampire stuff, especially, but that's just kind of like the nerd in me to see more of like the powers, to see like even a crazier fight, but you got to ground it a little bit. And the fact that it was in one night, yeah, it makes sense. I guess I'm too used to like movies having like a bigger scope than this, but like you said before, I think it was to the movie's great benefit to have a smaller scope and sit with like the characters and have them all in one setting like that, like an Avengers movie almost.
Right.
And then, like I said, the black on black violence. The minor gripe, I thought it was kind of funny though. The movie was very funny. I laughed a lot more than I thought I would. But all the scenes of people being asked to being let in,
Yeah.
like we could have used like one and a half less scenes of that.
Maybe. Yeah.
Like, but that this is a minor. I just thought it was funny because it was just almost like a running gag. Um,
I thought our main characters could have picked up on it a little quicker. Yeah. Like,
exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's pick up that's a vampire trope that's been around forever, I think. And it felt like it was getting beat over the head. We were getting beat over
Yeah.
the head with that trope. And yeah.
And like I
Uh
said, I wanted more vampire lore, so more with the villain, more of his history, a little bit like would have been interesting. But
yeah.
and that's pretty much the only negatives I have, really.
Yeah, this isn't a negative, but I do have negatives. I'm not the biggest fan of Michael B. Jordan personally.
No, me neither.
I think he's an incredibly aesthetically pleasing looking person.
Totally agree.
Um, and my friend, and I won't call it my friend. My friend calls him a face actor. Like he's good. He's good. His face is good, but that's about it. I think this is his best performance for me,
I agree.
um, which is phenomenal. Which is great. The 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 one thing that I is a gripe for me is they did beat you over the head with that what you were talking about, the invitation, and then the how rural deep south Mississippi is. At the
Hmm.
there were several extended shots of cornfields of cotton fields as wide as the eye could see.
Yeah,
Yes, I am aware that that's the thing. I have been to the south. I
yeah,
have driven through those areas. I am
yeah,
very aware that this is what it looks like. I am very aware that they had to pick it by hand. I am very aware of all this stuff. It didn't help the movie. Those really it didn't. Go ahead.
yeah. I was gonna say, he does make sure you like really feel the themes like in a Spike Lee way. Like, a Spike Lee kind of beats you over the head with stuff too. Not saying I'm mad at that,
Yeah.
but with this, like he wanted to make sure like certain themes, like you just had no question of what he was talking about, trying to convey. Even like in the music scene, like the costuming of like the different eras of music, we're like, okay, it's a little obvious, like, um, but we get it. But you got to let the audience like really understand. Like you got to assume the audience is dumb sometimes.
Right. Well, and that's a fair point. You do kind of have to, but for me personally, I was like, okay, we don't we don't need this. The one joke that is, I think I just shat myself.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
didn't need it. Didn't need that. That
Correct.
feels very Marvel
Yeah,
like. It felt like Marvel.
in a movie
Um,
that didn't feel very Marvel at all. Otherwise,
no,
yeah.
it was very cool. And then I'll say I I didn't necessarily need, and I understand why it's there. I didn't need the anti music religious aspect.
Mm,
Could have done without that too.
hmm.
Could have got done without that too. But also, it's based on a. I mean, obviously they're vampires, but it's based on an actual guitarist and an actual musician. And so, if that was their life in terms of moving away from religion in order to pursue musicianship. And if that's the case, absolutely. I
Mhm.
didn't need it. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
Um, because in my experience for religion, music is celebrated.
Mhm.
Um, but also, and my mom said this, she's hilarious. My buddy and I did the trailer reaction, and it was one of our first videos on the channel, and it got a lot of views, and we were super stoked. And my mom said, "Yeah, I watched most of it, but it got kind of graphic, so I stopped watching it." And then it reminded me of Footloose, and um, and then so for someone who's like my mom, that would go a little bit deeper. I think the religious anxiety towards blues and jazz and all of that.
Yeah.
But for me, it was didn't need it. It was
It's
okay.
it's a tough rope to balance. I get for sure.
There's just so much good already.
Yeah.
Um, the let's see, do I have another negative? No, I thought all the performances were adequate.
Yeah. Delroy Lindo was definitely. I mean, but he's great in everything. But
Yeah,
yeah, he was definitely on another level from a lot of the cast members. I would say Wunmi. I don't want to say her name wrong, but the the black love interest. She's also very good.
out of this world,
Yeah,
out of this world. If I had to give it a rating, I would say it was like a 9 out of 10 for me. The movie,
exactly what I would give it.
I'd give
Yeah.
it a 9 out of 10. I don't know that you could do much better, and I think all of the gripes that I have, and I've got a couple of others, I just can't like summon them right now. Um, the gripes that I have are like for me. Like I understand that an audience member might not think those are gripes, and that's okay. Like I said, the if if the killing of the KKK members in their hometown after coming back from Chicago wasn't planned, if it was just like, oh yeah, we're prepared because someone mentioned that they were going to show up tomorrow.
I think
Um,
they're just prepared because they know how this
they're,
all goes and they're black and
they're actual gangsters. Yeah, I mean they are like OG gangsters.
so yeah.
Um, if that's the case, then maybe like just like killing KKK members on top of everything else seems a little bit forced. But uh, it, outside of that, I think it's incredible. It's one of the few movies I'd be willing to watch again in theaters,
Mhm.
um, mainly because it's shot for it.
Yeah,
It's made for it, and then I think on top of everything, Ryan Coogler should get all the praise that he's getting for this movie.
for sure.
Um, uh, going back to production, it's obviously a passion project. This is like nothing I've seen before, personally. And when I pitched this in my mind, this movie concept in my mind, zero chance it's getting greenlit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've,
Yeah,
I've got this idea. Okay, it's got vampires, it's got KKK members, it's got a guy playing the same single actor playing two different parts. It's got
yeah.
zero chance it's getting like they would look at me and be like, "Get the hell out of here."
Right. So many things you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Like
Hmm.
just for making twins alone, that's so difficult to do, have them touch, talk, fight. Like, okay, why do we need to have that? And like all that. So difficult to get made. So that's why it's like Nolan-esque, because like these are only people doing like big budget original movies. And I wish like more directors got a chance to do that. James Cameron, another
Yeah,
one of my favorite
for
directors.
sure.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of equity. It takes a lot of equity in the system. I think. I mean, that evidence speaks for itself. But you've got Fruitvale Station, which is a much smaller film than this one, which
Yeah.
is so a passion project, but it's little. It's I'm sure. I'm sure that there was a lot of bargaining with regard to what they can show and can't show and all that for that movie, and in terms of production, and then
Yeah.
like being doing Creed, while I'm sure Ryan Coogler enjoyed it, or doing Black Panther, those aren't like his movies. Fruitvale Station and this movie look like and feel like his movies,
Mhm. Yeah.
you know, and so hopefully he'll get now carte blanche to produce whatever he wants because obviously he makes money and he's good at it. It's
Yeah.
not like he just makes money. Like one of the things that I detest is J.J. Abrams because he makes money and he ain't good at it.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't think I even like J.J. Abrams movies. Like, I really wanted to like all of them, and I
No,
didn't
my
like
my
parts.
favorite one is Star Trek 2009, and it's not that great.
It's not that yeah, right.
It's fine. Like, I like it. You know, it's fun, but you know, this movie, the themes and the concepts, it's setting, the way it's shot, um, it's pretty close to masterpiece.
Yeah.
Like, if not, uh, and I hate saying that I give it a 9 out of 10, but like that's just how I feel. But it's pretty close to like Empire Strikes Back level movie
Right.
or Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's like,
Mhm.
I
Modern
mean,
modern classic.
modern classic. Like I said, sometimes I had to like suspend my Michael B. Jordan dislike for the first 3 minutes, and then I was in.
It's so funny that you say that because my ex from way back, she used to say like he has like he only has two faces. It's like angry or like pouty dog, or I don't know, like one of them is pouty puppy dog, and another is
I'm
so,
telling you,
like yeah, like
don't watch Creed. That'll ruin your, yeah, yeah. Don't tell people that, and then watch Creed, because Creed will get ruined. He's great in Black Panther as the villain, but
oh yeah, yeah.
is there anything else that you want to? I mean, obviously, you talk about this movie forever. We could do it like a line by line. I mean, the opening scene is great,
But
and then fast forward or rewind to last night. The setting is great. I mean, I'm a big Bonnie and Clyde fan, like
mm,
that era of. Do you know anything about Bonnie and Clyde?
I just know like broad strokes. I haven't seen
It's
any.
it's all good. It's similar setting. It's Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and North Texas, and it's um, Bonnie runs into Clyde, and they both have had different separate lives, and she's been married already, and he just ran off on her, and he's kind of weird, and uh, they start trying to rob banks because of the Great Depression, and they only come away with like $25
Mhm.
or $50 at a time. But she starts writing letters to the newspapers uh, in order to get famous. And they do get famous. And so they finally get caught by Texas Rangers, who
Mhm.
have a license to shoot and kill and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they finally get caught by Texas Rangers. But it's a similar energy. Like, I'd love to see a Bonnie and Clyde in this with this stuff,
Yeah.
where you've got two wannabe, the husband wife character, who are wannabe gangsters and are ruthless. And anyway, enough of that. But yeah,
In that setting, right?
that
Because
exact setting, I would love to see it.
you don't get to see that setting. Every time I do, I love that setting.
I mean, stealing. Oh, they didn't. I'm so sorry. I said earlier. Oh, they stole guns and booze. I didn't say that earlier. Booze. Uh,
Uh-huh.
The whole drinking a beer thing, that hit me hard, because I was like, man, a beer tastes great. And I don't
Oh,
know, what did they say they were serving at the other juke that he played at, the harmonica pianist.
I don't remember
It
what
was
he was
it
saying.
was corn liquor, right? It was just like White Lightning.
Yeah, something. I
But
think
have you ever had corn liquor?
so. I don't think I have. No.
Ah, buddy. So where I come from, corn liquor is a thing,
Yeah.
and the mountains of North Carolina and East Tennessee, that is where NASCAR comes from. Is running. That's not a joke. NASCAR comes from running booze
Mm.
in
Oh,
the South. That's a real thing.
oh,
And so there are corn liquor stills all over Western North Carolina and East Tennessee. And um, anyway, that's a story for another time. But essentially, it's 100% proof. It's like 100% alcohol. It's like
mm,
196 or something proof,
mm.
and you're sipping rocket fuel. It'll light you on fire, and if you don't make it right, it can hurt you. So you
Yeah.
got to make it real, real right. That Yeah, I can't imagine being forced to drink that. And then someone's like, "Here, you want a beer?" It's like, absolutely, ice cold beer, 1,000%. Irish ale. The fact that it was Irish ale and then the Irish dancers showed up, the vampires were Irish, also
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. They like brought all that together. They said Italian wine too. That's like foreshadowing them stealing the liquor from the
The
people.
mobsters. Yeah, the gangsters. Yeah, for sure. I won't talk over you again. Like I
What,
said, huh?
what, I was gonna say one last thing I want to say about the movie, or just Kugler. I guess I think I heard that this was like a movie that he shot like really quickly because like he only has so much equity right at this point. Um, but like this was like a quick shoot and it makes sense because they only had the one location, like they're not doing all this crazy stuff with the vampire. So I'm just thinking like, hopefully this gives them more like cachet to like really have like even a bigger budget, that like a budget that like Nolan would have, that
Right.
Nolan's up his own ass sometimes, but like, you know,
Accurate.
to have that kind of budget, um you know I'm looking forward to that. So
Yeah, yeah. More movies made for the theaters.
exactly.
I'm into it. Let's do this.
Yeah,
Because as much as I enjoy chilling on the couch and watching whatever Netflix stuff
have
or
it
whatever, you know, I want to go see some cool shit,
right.
you know? And I think, what is Nolan's next movie? Odyssey?
The Odyssey, yeah.
It, the images look incredible. So
Mm,
I hope that's just as good. But yeah, looking forward to Michael B. Jordan's next movie for sure.
yeah.
That'll be it for us, I think. If you like this content, please feel free to like and subscribe. And there's a seat right there on the couch. And we saved you one. But until next time, later, taters.
Later.